Thanks, guys. Thanks for helping me. Thanks for being here in the class.
Absolutely.
So we're going to start. I just shared a document with you guys. If that worked, you should go to open up your email, or mail.apu.edu, and do that. I'll start there. So open up that document. It should say Prezi Workshop Doc. And we're going to work. That's basically our whole class right there. And so I'll kind of introduce you to that, and then we'll go from there. We already know each other, so there's no need to do introductions or anything. And you guys already know that, yeah, you guys can participate because we all know each other. But I think for this, especially this type of learning, it's important to communicate that you guys are all adults and you guys all bring your knowledge. And so I'm one of the learners, and I'm not the expert. I'm not, I'm the coordinator of this workshop, but I'm not the only person with knowledge about these things. So that's part of this learning style. It's from this educator, Jane Villa, teaching and learning. A big part of her style is learner-centered instead of teacher-centered. So it's not, hey teacher, let's see like how charismatic and how funny and how cool your presentation can be. It's, hey teacher, teach me something. And so it's more focused on the learner and what you bring as adults and what you learn in the process. So Jane Villa, that's the basis. It'll be a little different. So let's take a look. She has 7 design steps. And this is kind of why I shot out a survey, is to find out where you're at, who you are, what you're bringing to the class, what you already know, and what you need out of the class. So the first of her design steps is who. So our who had signed up were 5 staff members and a faculty member, plus myself as the leader. So 7 of us to go over the topic of Prezi Next on my presentation. So just it's helpful for you guys to know that overall, everybody who responded to the survey has little to no experience on Prezi. We all share kind of an intermediate though experience with making slide presentations. So we're kind of peers in that way, you know. And then as a leader, I just know, or the coordinator, I just know a little bit more as far as the Prezi and Prezi Next options. So kind of helpful to know we're all on the kind of the same page there. And then primary motivation was to help me with my class. So thanks, guys. Yes, you get the shaka. All right, so this kind of these designs goes into the why are we doing this class, when and where, of course, right here, right now. And then the content of the class is really kind of covered in the what for, and the how. So the what is the content, the what for are what Vela calls your achievement-based outcomes. So the outcome that we will each achieve out of this class is quickly what I'll look at with you is the what for. And it is, by the end of this course, at the end of this workshop, we'll all have created a Prezi account, worked with templates, created a design, designed a presentation, and then learned and practice a little bit with conversational presenting. That's it.
Okay.
So that's what we're going to spend kind of this workshop doing, is kind of working through each of those what for items. You know, why are we here? Why are we going to spend this time together? It's for those things. So by the end of the class, those are the achievement-based outcomes. And then the way we're going to do that, the how, are these learning tasks that correspond to each of those objectives. So any questions about the 7 designs, any of the what fors that you feel like I'd rather do something else? We're good? All right. And you guys know, phone rings, grab the phone, you have to use whatever, go for it, and if you're thirsty, I'll call it pizza. Call it pizza. All right, so everybody's got the document open, right? So scroll down to Learning Task 1.1, and that's where we're really going to start the action of this workshop. So Learning Task 1.1 is creating a Prezi account. Linda, you have a Prezi account. Do you remember the login and password? Do you know if it's under your APU?
It might be. I'll check right now.
It might be. Check right now. Okay, Ray? Do you have a Prezi account?
I did. I don't think it exists
Did, but
anymore.
don't. Okay, cool. So a couple of things we can do. One, we can all just create a new account using the apu.edu, which gives you free access. Linda, you could see what it's under, and you can actually change your license to an EDU, the free membership. So you can either go with your existing account and under settings, change to an EDU, or start all over with your apu.edu. All right, cool. So Vela is really big on these learning tasks that you reach an outcome. And she breaks these learning tasks into 4 parts, 4 I's: inductive, input, implementation, and integration. So let me just really quick tell you what that is, because that was very new for me in the classroom setting. So 1, she says you have to recall information. That's the inductive part. You have to recall information that you know or familiar with about the topic, because it helps us as learners kind of attach that to old information and retain it for future use. So each of these learning tasks will have that recall portion. You'll have the input portion, which is kind of learning something new, then trying it, implementing it, and then looking ahead and kind of planning to integrate it. So that's kind of our process for these learning tasks, okay? So real quick, I'll just kind of pose, and if we had a larger class setting, then this would be our groups, right? We break into like groups of 3 to 4 people. So we'll just, anytime it says, as a class, we'll just as a group, we're the group. So that's how we'll respond to the task. Okay. So I'll just pose the question. So what are some online? I mean, we've all created online accounts before, right? What are some accounts that you're familiar with? What do you remember about password requirements and logging into other accounts? Maybe just throw out there a couple accounts that we already have. Facebook, social media,
LinkedIn.
YouTube, LinkedIn, APU, Net ID, and password,
Pandora.
and Pandora. Yeah.
Hulu.
Yeah.
Netflix.
What are the requirements that we see most often with creating a password?
A cap, a lowercase, a number.
Cap, lowercase number, sometimes a symbol. What is APU like when we?
8 characters long.
Yeah, at least 8 to 12 units.
Long, long.
Yeah.
Have to change it once a year. Can't be the same password.
Yes, yeah. The issue for me with that is I have so many different passwords with different requirements.
Yeah.
So we're going to create a Prezi account, and we'll find out kind of our new information. What does Prezi require, right? So you can either click on the link in the sheet, or go to Prezi.com, and we're going to just start creating an account. So if this is your first time going to Prezi.com, just take a little bit of time to kind of scroll through the website, just kind of take a look. It's really an interesting site with a lot of cool information. And this is a lot of the information we're not going to cover in this workshop, because it's the basics, right? So but be familiar with it. Pretend like this is your first time kind of going down to Huntington Beach, and you're just kind of taking it in and figuring out where to eat and where to park. And next time you go to Huntington Beach, it'll be a little bit easier.
Powerful presentation platform yet.
Nice.
We're introducing the Prezi account you already have. So now,
Oh, nice.
There's a volume on it, go away.
each with its own dashboard.
There we go.
So I'm going to go ahead and let you guys work through the document. As a group, we're a group. Go ahead and work through the input part of the task. So click on Get Started and follow the instructions there. And then just kind of voice out if you have any questions that one of us can help with.
So it was an EDU account.
It already is.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
So I was
Okay. So you can get ahead of the task. Linda, too, if you want, you can help people with you guys get stuck.
So which one would we select?
So go ahead and so if you scroll under the kind of the top options, it says for students and teachers. So it's kind of tucked under there. You can hit learn more. And then if you scroll up, you can see that you actually have other options as like an EDU. And I'd recommend the standard.
So this one right here.
Yeah. It's free. And then you need to verify your email address. So keep your email tab open and then just kind of shoot that in there. So what video was it giving you?
It was the switch from Prezi Classic to Prezi Next.
Oh, okay.
Video.
So up here, click on that, and then click on Prezi Next.
Yeah, Prezi Next already.
Cool.
It's saying my email has a Prezi Next account to it too. That's real crazy because I never
So
used it.
when I came across that, I did the reset password,
Uh-huh.
and it just emailed me a link to reset the
Okay.
password. Which, by the way, it doesn't have any of the funky requirements.
Sweet.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
So it's just simple.
So five no numbers.
5 no numbers. Okay.
Worked for
Well,
me,
perfect.
so.
It has little things like, nice to meet you, great name.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cute, great name.
Very millennial.
Funny.
Great. You're on a roll.
That's so
Oh, wow.
funny.
I'm not a robot. I think you have to click that I'm not a robot.
Mum's the word on the password.
Well,
What's
look,
that going to?
It's going.
I-
Oh, you got it. New password.
Yeah.
I last used it on March 22nd, 2016.
Wow. All right. So you guys all picked your password. Where's everybody at? Anybody hit any obstacles? Let's talk about you. Oh, cool. Awesome. And then kind of the last part of this task of creating an account is just to think ahead if you need to jot down your password or, what can you do to kind of remember this information as you do that up ahead. So very cool, completion of task 1.1, you guys are awesome. Let's move on to 2. Any questions and are we still on 1.2 or we're doing good? Good, all right. Well, perfect. I had hoped to by 3:15 get to this point, so we're doing good. So we're going to take till 3:30, and we're going to do the next task. So go ahead and take a look at this task. It says, what are some things that commonly happen when you've created online accounts in the past? What usually happens? You create an account,
Create password.
you forget your password. Yeah.
You kind of take the tour
You
of
take
the
the
place.
tour,
Here's how you
yes.
do it. Here's what
Kind
you
of
see.
tutorials,
Mhm.
things,
It's a tutorial.
how you get started, and yeah. And that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do with this next step is kind of take a tutorial, kind of take a look at what they offer us as far as the how-tos. And again, you have this on your computers. Instead of printing it, I thought we'd go paperless and you can just kind of go through this. So from the help menu, choose knowledge base. So I'm going to get you familiar with Prezi and how to use that. You're going to choose knowledge base. And then choose, you'll see an article there that says, on the bottom left, that says using templates. Templates. Did you guys find it?
Yes.
We're going to take a look at that. But we'll wait till everybody gets there. Linda, could you help see where Jeff's at? Jeff, do you need a hand?
Yeah. Let's see what we got going here.
Lauren, you good? You found the article, K-Ray? All right.
Think about now?
So from the document, from our learning task, we're going to watch the tutorial together, and then just kind of take some time to read through the information of the article, and then go from there. So let's take a look at the video together. way you get a big screen version of that.
Fully customizable templates. You can
Okay,
scroll
let's
down
start
and
that
select.
over. Sorry about that. There we go. All right, this is about
Choosing the
how to
right
use
template is an
templates.
essential part of a great Prezi presentation. Here are a couple of tips to help you choose the right one. From the dashboard, click New Presentation. Once the template chooser opens, you'll see over 100 fully customizable templates. You can scroll down and select one, or use the left sidebar to narrow down your search. Select a category to see what fits, or even filter by color to match your brand or style. Remember, each template is fully customizable, so you can tweak the colors, fonts, or background at any time. Here's a tip. Our templates often include a visual metaphor to help you set the direction or feel of your presentation. Try choosing one that will help your narrative and make your content more memorable to your audience. For example, if your presentation is about a journey or process, then try to choose a template with ascending topics. Or choose one where the background image resembles a path or journey. Once you've found one that might work, you can click on it to open a preview to see how it looks. Once you're ready, click Use this template to start making this template your own. And be sure to check out our other videos on how to add content or customize the logo.
All right. So again, you click on starting a Prezi, and then you have about 100 templates to choose from. Lauren, could you check the could you look at the document and then read what comes next in that input section for task 1.2?
In the implement?
Yeah, in the input part.
Input, okay, after watching the video, in your groups, read through the information available about
Okay.
using Prezi,
Yeah.
custom design templates.
Yeah. Do you guys want to spend some time kind of looking at that article, what it says about templates, or do you just kind of want to jump in to using the templates? What do you think? What do you prefer?
More of a hands-on.
More of a hands-on? Yeah, let's skip the reading. If you want later to read what they say, jump in. So I think the implementation part says, what does it say? Do we have that open? Oh, well, do you have any questions about how to get started with templates? You guys, everybody good? Okay. So implementation is just take a look at the templates. Click into a few of them, click out of a few of them, and just kind of click around in there. And we'll spend we'll spend until let's do 3:30, where you guys can just kind of click around and find some that you like, and maybe take a note of some of the ones that kind of stand out, some of the ones you could go, oh, I like that one, or I could see using that in a work setting. And so yeah, we'll just take the next little bit to do that. It is that they're different sections, you know. So education, training, sales.
Yeah, it's cool, like retail, like so many different. So did you find that on your homepage? Because mine doesn't, I'm looking for the presentation.
So you go to, oh, it looks like they're asking you to do their getting started first. Did Kendall, did you have to do that?
I just went back to the home.
They made me click get started. I had
Okay.
to like actually pretend like I was going to do one.
Right.
Otherwise, they wouldn't let me hit it. So yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Can I do that?
Well, that's good to know. So did you have to click through the whole getting started before you could? Oh, you know why? Because it opens up a new, so if you go back, oh no.
I think they tab out across the top already.
Yeah, I got.
Like every time I do a move, it starts a new tab.
Okay, sorry. Oh, it says sorry, Prezi Next presentations can't be edited within the browser. Use a supported browser to edit or upgrade your license to edit within Prezi Next app.
What browser are you using?
Firefox.
I'm using Chrome, and it's letting me. That's surprising.
Sandra, which templates do you like?
I don't know. I'm kind of like liking to look at the different layouts. Like they were saying, like use ascending tabs for a plan or a strategy, and then the ones that are really cohesive, like all in a little circle, like all the moving parts that you need to work together. It's kind of cool just to see those different layouts.
Just go to Prezi.com.
It's nice that you can filter by color too.
Prezi.com. Yeah, you can filter by color. You can change the color once you get into. So do you always use Firefox as your go-to? Yeah.
Well, I don't only at work because my work computer's on the Firefox.
I use Firefox a lot here.
You do too?
Google's the main one. I go to Firefox for like side searches. Oh, let me check real quick. Let me check why something outside of APU system. I do Firefox. I think at a certain point, MacGyver had us do that, or circle back to that, or something.
To Firefox?
I think so.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Firefox.
I think when I got here, he was like, no, use Firefox. I was like, what?
Really?
Are you sure? And he's like,
I
yeah.
assumed
use
Chrome
Google
because of the
for our-
Gmail.
They default to Chrome, I think, right?
Yeah.
APU likes Chrome.
PeopleSoft was
There
not
you go.
updating with Chrome at one point in time.
That might be
So
it.
crazy. So use Chrome. You got a get started tutorial up front. So that's
Yeah.
good stuff. So the get started tutorial is actually pretty cool. And maybe if you guys want, we should just click through that if you guys all have it. That might be a good way to do the next learning task.
Okay.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, so I don't know. For me, I think the last part of this learning task was just to, if you and as you plan to use this up ahead, would be to kind of pick out the ones that you like and kind of jot those down for use up ahead. So I don't know if any of them stand out to you guys. If you guys want to mention those or not, that's up to you guys.
There's one in, let's see here, there's one in sales, which looked like it was a a sales pitch called Pitch City. And it's incredible. It takes a building essentially and just kind of funnels you through the different things. And it's so designed, it's so creative.
I like that one,
You
yeah.
pull up to the team, you
That's
look at
fine.
Megan, the account manager.
Have you guys
Click through
into
Megan.
it?
Let's look at Megan. Look how this picture, normally you'd go, this picture doesn't make any sense, but when you look at Megan, it's almost endearing. Watch this. Go more. Look at Megan on the top. Eyes are closed. But that looks incredible. It's so artistic, and it just makes you go, she can do what she's supposed to do. So I think this is very creative.
Yeah,
It's a very creative feel,
yeah.
which is pretty cool.
It's
I can
really-
see our team being on here.
Have you guys clicked into the template and kind of click the arrows? Try that on a couple of them if you haven't. Find one you like and click through because they designed it to kind of, look at Megan. That's true.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Every time you'd be like, get that picture out of there. But for her, it works.
Yeah.
She looks like a creative director or an account manager with 7 years experience. Pretty cool stuff. It's cool how it clicks through too, J-Mun. It's every click is a new beat in the presentation. It takes you along.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's real dynamic.
Real
A lot
dynamic.
of motion,
Yeah.
a lot of,
It moves. It moves you through. It's just pretty cool. Anyways, I thought the city was pretty cool looking.
That is cool. Did you guys click into any of the others?
Still waiting to get into this.
Oh, you're still waiting? What's going on?
Just loading.
It's loading.
I was having some trouble with that, trying to find Megan.
Oh, Lord.
I'll send her a dial-up noise.
I wonder why.
I don't know. I'm just that different.
so you too, Linda. But you didn't have an
I
issue.
flowed, just went through,
But
just
that
ended up
was-
going
Are
through
you guys
Chrome.
on the Wi-Fi?
Mine have
Is
built
it
through
okay? You should be able to
But you can go into other presentations?
Yeah, it got me there finally.
Oh, I never.
Kara's
It's
jamming
taking
there.
a long time, but Kara, you're jamming.
Yeah, there's some cool
Yeah.
ones.
So these templates are awesome. As I've used Prezi, these templates have helped a lot. And I found that it's easy to just use what they've already designed, because to be that creative out the gate is
Yeah.
tough.
Oh, man.
You know?
Do you have ones you lean on, Jay Munn? Is there ones?
I've used a few. So see the one that's kind of looks like the footprints in the sand one?
Yeah.
They're just rocks on the water kind of a thing, and I loved it. So I've used that a couple times.
Nice.
There's a few that I liked the kind of the layout. I think that one right in the middle, and I just changed the picture.
Your logo.
Yeah, I took I think I put APU's logo there, and then I just changed the picture, but I used those circles.
That is cool.
So that's the nice thing, is just kind of saying, well, I'm going to use that one and kind of go with what they already got,
Mhm.
and then I'll throw in a new picture, or I'll throw in some new text, right? Or I'll delete a field that doesn't make sense for us, that kind of thing. So that's why I thought it was important to just kind of out the gate look at templates. And there's more, you know, I mean, you saw under the knowledge base, there are more things that you can look at.
Yeah.
But, and wow, that's interesting that you can't
I'm in that, but not.
dive in, but see, like for me, that was like changing channels. Like I can just jump in there.
Oh, sorry.
And it's no problem. So I wonder why, as far as requirements, you know, maybe we can ask IT. But see how mine just jumps right in.
Yeah.
Huh.
I wonder if the difference is because we're using the loaner laptops.
The loaner laptops being
and there might be
older?
some filtering. There might be some filtering.
Oh,
going on
filtering.
Because it's web-based.
Okay. So maybe some of the security settings?
That might be it.
Okay.
So
So,
it might
yeah.
just be.
Now
I
you're-
think it's just a lag of old computers,
Wow. Okay.
because it's just, summer.
So pretty interesting. I mean, if you are going to use Prezi Next, then, you know, part of the reason why I like Prezi Next is because you can, I don't have to carry a thumb drive with me, you know? Like if I'm ever on the spot, like, hey, can you do a presentation for APU? And they have a computer most schools will have a computer that's set up online, then I can just jump on there. And I use that at Cal State Fullerton, I use that at UCI. It's just, you know, it's cool because minimalist, I didn't have to have a thumb drive or plug in my computer. Lauren, do you want some time to take a look at that?
I've seen a few.
You seen it? Yeah, okay. So I think the takeaway from this task is kind of to go, okay, templates, that's how I can get started easily. You know, for me that was helpful. And keeping it simple up front is pretty important, I think. Because these guys are pros, they've already designed some really sweet looking templates that have great motion and great movement. So so that would be my piece. All right, so the next task, if you want to click over to your tab, is learning task on designing a Prezi Next presentation. So I thought it would be helpful in the workshop to actually have a go at making a presentation. One of the thoughts I had is, well, why don't you pick out a presentation that you already have on your computer? So, so that's kind of the inductive, kind of the recalling information you already know. If you have a slide on your computer, a slideshow on your computer, why don't you open that up now?
Okay.
And take a look at it. And take a look at what you like about it and what you don't like about it. And what that might look like in the Prezi Next version. But let's take a look at a presentation maybe we already have on our computers. So I'll pull one up. So this is an old information meeting presentation. You guys have any presentations that you kind of took a look at, or yeah? No, you're not using your computer. So what do you like about kind of this look? What do you like about this presentation? Anything?
It's clear, it's cut, it's
Clear,
clean.
easy to read.
Yeah, nothing exciting, but it's clean and has all the information.
Yeah. Am I the only one that doesn't like the square screen?
I think we don't feel as passionately as we should be, but I think it's definitely alarming. Yeah, we get a little bit alarmed for sure.
I got issues
yeah.
when it comes to the square
Ah,
screen.
it looks kind of weird. It looks like a movie that's not formatted to fit, you know.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
So recalling kind of presentations that you've done before is really the intention here. And let's kind of move into making our own. So take a look at the next step in the task. Who has that open right now and can kind of read that out for us?
Is the implementation one?
The input section.
Input. Oh. The watch the video one?
Yeah, from the knowledge base, open the article Getting Started with Prezi, watch the video tutorial of the class, and your groups read the information provided. So similar to the last task, we'll watch a video together and take a look at how to use Prezi, how Prezi is different. One thing I did want to mention though is you guys each have the Getting Started tutorial up front. Maybe we should just kind of click through that instead of watching the video. What do you think?
It's the same thing, or?
No, a little different. So the way to access that is to go to kind of your Prezi homepage, and then I'll go ahead and open that up. But feel free to follow along because it's just a slideshow that they give to kind of walk you through how to set up a Prezi workshop. So getting started with Prezi. Go ahead and click through that kind of at your own pace, and we'll connect about it at 3:40.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
For in Prezi, because it is an online base, if you're using it for, say, an assignment,
Mhm.
you can't really attach it as a document, correct? Or is
No,
there a
so you
way
share it as a link.
you just share it?
So yeah, so it's not actually a document. It's not actually a file. It's a link to, it's stored on a cloud. So
So that
that's
would impose upon the other person to click the link.
yeah. So the nice thing about that, as far as shareability, is you don't have to worry about file size. You don't have to worry like, hey, is this gonna, fit in my email? That kind of thing. So it's kind of this unlimited amount of media you can throw on there, or just throw a link at somebody.
But that person can't edit it, right?
They can edit it if you give them permission. Yeah, so you can actually collaborate like you do with a Google slide presentation or Google document. So I could share it with Linda and we can hop on at the same time. I can be in Hawaii and she can be here and we can collaborate on the presentation. You can share it to as many people as you want. You can download it if you have a paid membership. If you do the paid license, then you can download it and kind of have it offline. but that's a different level. For our basic standard kind of EDU membership, it just allows us to share it and revoke that sharing. So I can say, you can look at it, but you can't look at it anymore, that kind of stuff. So you do have some permissions.
Does it say I share it out with somebody and then I make a change to it? Their link that they have is a link, so therefore those changes are updated on their end as well,
Yeah,
correct?
it links the same presentation. You don't have to send them a new link.
Okay.
Everything's updated real time. Yeah,
Thinking through
good
business
questions.
applications.
And it auto saves, so you don't have to save. Good questions. Any other thoughts on how Prezi's different? I mean, it is a very different approach.
Prezi Next and Prezi OG. Walk us through a little bit of
Yeah.
kind of.
So they're different systems.
Or Prezi
Prezi
Classic.
Next is kind of the latest and greatest as far as shareability, usability. It has access to the Prezi app, which you can use on your phone and your iPad. It has text reveal and graphics reveal. So the other one was very kind of motion and linear. And then we'll learn a little bit about conversational presenting, where if I just want to tell you about collaboration, I can just click on collaboration and just talk to you about it. And then I can kind of exit out of there, and then you're like, well, how do I even create it? And I can go to create, and then we can, and I don't want to talk about all of this, so I'm just going to talk to you about adding content. So it's non-linear, it's conversational and presenting, which Prezi Classic is linear.
You have to
And it also doesn't have this text, this reveal, right, where I can reveal, I can just put a label on the content and then reveal that, which I love. That's my favorite thing about Prezi Next.
Perfect.
Definitely an improvement. I'm just thinking through business applications of it, and say, for example, for my husband, if he wants to send out a document, hey, here's how you order from my website, and then if there's ever a change to the website, he can just edit it, and anybody that has that link will still be.
Yes, yeah, the link stays current. And you can attach, a Google Doc or a Google form, to it, and then they can click there and register, and it pops onto a spreadsheet for him. So yeah, and it's free with the EDU. There is a basic version without an EDU that's free, but but you have very limited kind of security settings, and it's kind of shareable to everybody. And so that may not be best for him, but there is a business version that has a cost to it. Okay, so for purposes of our task, we may have run out of time to create an actual one, but we have, if you guys want to spend, another 3 minutes or so kind of starting a presentation, clicking start a new presentation, choose a template, and just, if you want, just kind of put in some text and kind of see where that goes. I don't think we're going to, we don't really have the time to make a brand new complete presentation, but maybe just get kind of started making a presentation.
Oh, there it is, $7 a month if you want to be able to create PDFs with it.
Yeah, so the different membership tiers have, different functions. This is for when you launch your nonprofit, your second nonprofit. Hey, fitness at work. Day 1, day 2, day 3. Fitness at work. Fitness orb.
Orb. How much does that cost?
$25. Anything?
Oh, sorry, I meant to do the
No,
business
do your
off
own thing.
topic.
Yeah, no.
And,
You're an adult, pragmatic learner.
yeah, no, I'm trying to see how much this costs for realsies.
I'll throw out a couple tips if you want to hear them
Yes.
Please.
on finding pictures. If you go to images.google.com, you find so many great photos.
Photos.
For larger shots, you want them to be, bigger they are, the clearer they are in the presentation.
How do you
And
work
then-
around copyright on that? 'Cause a lot of them are copyrighted.
Most of the ones with copyright have a watermark,
Oh, okay.
don't they? Where you have to actually buy them.
Yes.
So if they're just kind of
Like
public,
Google Images?
I go images. Yeah,
Oh,
Google. Yeah.
That's how I do all my presentations.
Yep. Yeah.
All of them.
And then what I do there is I grab logos too, and if you use instead of the JPEG, the PNG file, it doesn't have a background. You can just float it onto your background, which I really like. Well, I want to respect your time. I think that's about 3:45, yeah. So yeah, let's move on. Last task, actually not going to take us much time. So this is practice with the conversational presenting feature. So either, I would say, traditionally slide presentations are linear, right? They go in order, our Google Slides, PowerPoint, you start the show and you kind of have to hit all the slides in line. And they can't be interrupted without confusion, delay, distraction. So the thought was kind of just recalling, has that ever happened to you where you're kind of doing a slide presentation, but you've got to interrupt yourself because of a question to go back a few slides or to run forward a few slides. Has that ever happened to you guys?
Seen that during student financial services presentations that were like 26 slides long, and
Right.
the Prezi didn't work, and it was the Prezi OG, and they had to go all the way back. And,
Yeah, and that's common. I remember, it happened a ton because most of my experience with slide presentations have been for sermons. So I was the media guy for a church before I started here at APU, and he would often go, from one verse, and then all of a sudden the wrong verse was next.
Yeah.
And he would throw him off, and then he didn't know what the next slide was going to be because.
Happens all the time.
And then we'd hit the next slide, and it'd be the wrong slide, and he'd be like,
He's
and then he'd just throw it out altogether, and then you'd be like, oh, never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that linear system has some issues. It has some benefits, but it has some issues, and so this is why I wanted to kind of take a look at this specific feature that we have with Prezi Next. So let's take a look at this quick video.
Create a unique and engaging presentation that will wow your audience from the first Zoom. First, click Create a New Prezi. Then choose one of Prezi's beautifully designed templates. When the template opens,
Oh,
give your
I picked the wrong
presentation
video.
title
Sorry,
by
guys.
double-clicking on the text.
That's not the right video.
That's City Prez. I'm going to use that. Even just for myself.
You like that, huh?
I do.
It's going to be your next Christmas card.
To myself.
So all these videos are in the help and then the knowledge base. They're also in the help and the workshops and trainings. Right there. And these are cool. How to get started, how to brand your Prezi, how to conversationally present, which we'll watch, and then how to edit on the fly, present and go. That kind of mobile.
Prezi Next isn't just about showing your client a presentation. It's about starting a conversation. When you start presenting, you could go through your presentation in order, but that's the old way of presenting. With Prezi Next, you can move freely between topics to focus on what matters most to your audience. You can structure your topics with multiple subtopic layers, allowing you to dive deeper with your audience when you need to. This means you don't need to tap through those 57 slides that don't interest anyone. Setting this up couldn't be easy. Prezi templates come with topics built in. Simply zoom into one and add your content. That content will now be housed inside this topic, keeping it off the overview, but at your fingertips when you need it. If your client wants to go even deeper into details, you can click Add Topic to add a subtopic and even more relevant content. You can also zoom in even closer by adding a zoom area. To add a zoom area,
Open up the animation sidebar, click the plus icon, and select Add Zoom Area. When you need to go back to your previous topic or overview, simply click the arrow here. If you want, you can still use the arrow keys to go through your presentation step by step. When you're talking to clients, you can't always be next to your computer, and with Prezi Next, you don't have to be. Presenting on the go is a breeze with the Prezi Viewer app, which works on your iPad, iPhone, or Android device. That's it. Now you're ready to take your conversation with you on any screen, anytime.
So conversational presenting, very different than linear. And so I just thought kind of to close the workshop, to take some time kind of taking a look at a presentation. So maybe the getting started presentation or opening up a template and just seeing how you can just kind of click into different sections without having to go in order. And then click back to the overview as an option. And we'll take till 3:55 to do that. All good. So we're just taking a look at how with Prezi you don't have to kind of click linearly through the presentation. You can do what's called conversational presenting. So for this task, it was just kind of picking a presentation and kind of clicking, you know, so for example on this one, this is a presentation I did for UCI. So you can, you know, if you want to just jump right into the Orange County information, you click on the orange and you go right there instead of having to, you know, kind of start from here and do that.
I noticed under the templates that it has novice, skilled, and master.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
it'll tell you
Yeah.
how difficult they are to build.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good call, I didn't even notice that.
I never noticed that either. And I think for me, getting started with Prezi is just keeping it simple at first, you know?
Yeah.
Using the novice one, kind of using the template that's already there. And I know kind of the design of Prezi is to be a visual aid. It's not meant to carry a lot of text. It's meant to just be visually stunning and captivating, you know? And memorable, kind of a experience.
Mm-hmm.
And then a lot of the study that I noticed was saying, and of course this is Prezi promoting itself, but it's saying that most people don't want linear information now. They're so used to clicking on this side and then going, actually I want to know about this now, that even coming at information in a linear way isn't going to be as popular, I
Kind of
guess.
antiquated, yeah.
Yeah, but again, that's Prezi marketing itself, right? So kind of to add a question and open, do you think this is useful? The conversational presenting, do you see using that?
Oh,
Oh,
absolutely.
for sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What about it do you think, how do you see utilizing this?
Not being stuck in linear mode. I think, like you said, you know, being able to say, oh, let me pop back to a question, let me pop back to a concern, and not have to go from 15 slide to 8 slide back, each one at a time, you know? Seems very valuable with the
I think
modern day
it's just,
consumer.
yeah, like he's saying, it's just, and with the new, like PowerPoint's been around so long, you get into college, I had a professor who actually said, it has to be made on Prezi.
Oh,
It was
okay.
and it was I guess maybe a teaching model, they wanted us to start using that,
Mhm.
but just to know it and get familiar with it, just so if you come in the future have to use it at some point, whether it's a job or school or whatnot,
Mhm.
I think it's just another way to get
It's just helpful,
familiar, yeah,
another tool to have,
yeah, for sure.
yeah.
I really like the conversational approach
Yeah,
because
that's
sometimes you
interesting.
have to circle back on something.
Yeah, but it's also, for me, it's so different than I'm used to. Like, I'm used to making a presentation that you click all the way through it. But
Yeah.
Like PowerPoint.
Yeah,
Clicks the whole way through.
Mhm.
but I was thinking about applying it like for our information meetings. If
Mhm.
someone was like, hey, I have a question about tuition, like, do you stop what you're talking about then and go, oh yeah, let me just go and talk to you about, you know, or wherever that is,
Yeah.
tuition? Like, is that what, I mean, it's basically, it gives you the option to have an information meeting that way where those that attend kind of determine what you talk about
Mhm.
Yeah, that's true.
instead of having to wade through what you're talking about to
Mhm.
get to what they want to talk about.
Especially as we
That's
have
a good point.
more consumers with shorter attention spans.
Yes,
It's
yeah,
really where it's going. People aren't
Yeah.
really gonna sit, it used to be questions at the end.
yeah,
The presenter controlled not having to go back because they said, you can ask a question
Yeah.
until I've raffled off all my slides.
yeah,
But now the attention span is so short and so much different than it used to be in the day. I think the new consumer is gonna want
mhm,
the beats they want now,
Right.
rather than 25 minutes later saying, okay, now it's time for
Yeah.
everyone's questions. Go ahead. That's gonna lose a lot of people.
yeah,
So I think sales and marketing have to conform to info now, which the conversational piece definitely does.
Yeah, I think the new consumer is more wanting to do the steering of the ship
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to
mhm,
being brought along for the
Yeah,
ride.
or just not waiting.
Yeah.
mhm.
Just not waiting.
Do you think that, I mean, I wonder if that applies to our info meetings, like the people.
Sure, it will start to. Yeah.
At some point,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it already kind of does when some students don't come right when it starts, or
Mhm.
they
Exactly.
have to leave early, you know,
Right.
so sometimes they're only gonna
They
get a
kinda
piece
miss
of
that.
the information, and
Mhm.
Yeah,
they could, something like this, you know, could allow you to pop back into something to
Right.
revisit it really fast.
yeah, be more flexible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Plus, you know, just because so many people come already having looked at the website, if we're just giving the same information as the website in a linear fashion, then
Yeah.
it's kind of like, oh, why did I come, you know?
It's only a corner bakery sandwich, you know.
Yeah, depending.
Yeah, depending. It could be a slice, but
Well, we're at the close of the workshop. Thanks, guys. That hour flew by, but and thank you guys for coming and being a part. I have an evaluation for you to do before we're done, and be honest, I'm not graded on your evaluations, so don't feel like you have to kind of embellish. Keep it anonymous too. I don't do handwriting analysis.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Oh, and yeah, thank you. Yellow pens for everybody. And then if you do have any questions or kind of comments or suggestions, feel free to share those at will.
Thank you for doing this, Jason, because I likely would never have looked at Prezi Next if it weren't for your prodding.
Mm. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
let's hear for Jay Munn, everybody.